Welcome everybody to TrendSpider Live. My name is Mike. Today we have a very fun day because it is Nvidia earnings. The earnings are going to be dropping today after the bell. Got 15 minutes until the market closes, but if you're out there in the audience, please say what's up in the chat. Tell me who is all there. Good evening, Monkey Man. Great to see you. Great to see you. Great to see everybody here. Say what's up in the chat if you're there. But I have the 15-minute chart of Nvidia up. Let's go down to the 5-minute and see what's going on intraday. We'll add the per session volume by price. Why not? So as you can see, the day started pretty rough for Nvidia with 3 5-minute candles to the downside, but it got bought back up, and we've been pretty much consolidating in the value area right here. And we got 15 minutes till close. Looks like we're trading under the intraday volume point of control. So it should be interesting to see what is going to happen. Who has trades on Nvidia? Please let me know. What are my thoughts? My thoughts is that they're probably going to beat earnings, if we're being honest. They always do. But it's going to be hard to say how they'll react because the expectations are very high. Of course, since it's Nvidia, their revenue grows by, look at this revenue growth. It's absolutely insane. So if they have anything lower than expectations, obviously it's not going to be the greatest look. And also to go with that, they're trading at nearly all-time highs right now. So they're really going to have to push through. I mean, honestly, if they have a good beat, there's a good chance they go ahead and push to all-time highs. I mean, they're just a few bucks under it. But we've been consolidating in this range. I'll draw a couple horizontal lines here. I'd say around, this kind of area here is the bottom half. And then obviously all-time highs is going to be the top of that channel or this range that we're looking in. So what is the semiconductor ETF? That's a good question. Let's pull up SMH. That's the semiconductor ETF that I personally watch. Yeah, it's trading at pretty much all-time highs, just pretty similar to Nvidia there. So we'll see. Semiconductors have been pretty good. If I pull up my stock market map here, I'm curious to see. Oh, whoops, I want a bubble chart. And then I'm going to customize this with my ETF as sector ETFs. So we can see where the strength is in the market over the last 7 and 30 days. That's what I like to do a lot on here. It's pretty helpful stuff. But if you see here, it looks like energy has been really good over the last 7 days. Go pull up the daily chart. Yeah, energy has been popping up. XLY, that's consumer discretionary, has been good over the last 30 days. Let's see what else. Where is SMH? Should be in here. Is SMH in my list? Yeah, it should be in here. Where is it? Here's SMH. Let's color tag it right there. So SMH has been doing pretty good both over the last 7 and the last 30 days. So we will see. We stream across YouTube and X. So is there any other semiconductor stocks you guys are looking out for? Maybe you'll see a movement in a different semiconductor stock. By the way, while you guys are here, we do have our Labor Day sale live. I'm going to drop the link for that in the chat. You can follow along with us on the platform along with this live for just $7. You can get a trial for just $7 of TrendSpider using the link that I just dropped. That's trendspider.cc/YouTube live. I'll flash it across the screen for a little bit there. So yeah, definitely take advantage of the sale while it is here. Anyways, let's see what else we got. XLP consumer staples has actually been doing really bad, which is interesting. Is very interesting. That's pretty much a risk off style ETF, which is not doing good right now. Tech is doing okay. But energy, looks like energy the last 7 days has been really popping up. Interesting to see that for sure. And if you guys didn't notice here, I have one of the hackathon submitted indicators on my chart. It is the RSI divergences indicator, and I freaking love this indicator, to be honest. I'll drop a link for it in the chat for you guys to check out. But obviously, it spots the RSI divergences for you. What up, James? What up? Let's see. But yeah, this RSI divergences indicator is very cool. Let's pull up NVIDIA. We got 10 minutes till the market closes, and we'll see if we can spot anything worthwhile on this guy. And obviously, when it spots a bullish RSI divergence, it's going to be a green line, and a bearish one with a red line. So you can see basically a couple ones that it's spotted here. I think this is a good example right here with this bullish one. You can see the RSI. You see it made these higher lows right here, but the price was making, lower lows. And so the divergence there is that RSI was looking good, price was not looking good, signaling that the RSI was saying that, maybe this downtrend is looking weak and it's going to start an uptrend. And look at that. Sure enough, it did. That was back in 2023 and absolutely ripped from there. So that was cool. And this indicator makes it super easy to spot. I mean, I don't see why you would just use a regular RSI when you can use this RSI divergences one that automatically marks it for you. Very, very cool. Again, I dropped the link in the chat for you guys to check it out. Libra, you got 185 calls. Okay. Let's hope you don't lose all your money. Let's hope you don't. Let's take a look at the intraday price action. Looks pretty okay. I mean, we've been really consolidating, you guys, the last few days here. Obviously, people don't know what's going on. And I have my sector ETF list here so we can see what's going on in the overall market. Energy is leading today along with real estate and tech. Bottom of the day, we got healthcare and bonds and utilities. Basically, the risk off assets, it looks like, are the ones that, not super great. Utilities, XLP is up there, not too bad. SPY's right in the middle. So interesting day. I think the entire market is just sitting here waiting for Nvidia earnings to come out. Let's go back up to the 15-minute and see what is going on. So let's see. What else is interesting on the market? Let's check out gold because everyone has been looking at gold lately, and we still got 8 minutes until the market ends. Speaking of that, gold looks okay. It's still consolidating. About to test the top of that channel probably. Looking good today. Looking pretty good. But again, energy is really the one leading. It's like it almost tried to break out of this range it's in right here. So definitely keep an eye on energy. But for now, we're going to keep an eye on Nvidia. And let's check out AMD too, because AMD is obviously going to be trading probably, depends on what happens. It could trade opposite or similar to how Nvidia does. But yeah, Nvidia has just been way stronger. Nvidia's basically at all-time highs. AMD still has some room to go until all-time highs. Add this reports widget to a new column here. Let's see. But while we're here, if you guys haven't used Sidekick, by the way, Sidekick is awesome. It's TrendSpider's new LLM, and it's connected to all of our data. And so you can basically use it like ChatGPT to analyze anything on the market for you guys, basically anything that we have data for, at least, which is many things from SEC filings to fundamentals to unusual options activity. Very cool stuff. Very cool stuff. For an example, let's take a look here. I'm going to ask it, analyze the unusual options activity for NVIDIA this week and tell me whether the flow is bullish or bearish. Let's see. I can leave that system prompt. That could be cool. And I'm going to use the Wall Street Dominator because he's pretty fun, especially when it comes to options activity to use, because he's going to recommend the YOLOs or just, the high risk, high reward plays. And if you're looking at options activity for NVIDIA before earnings, there's you're basically gambling no matter which way you look at it. So let's see what the Wall Street Dominator has to say. Let's see. Absolutely bananas. The smart money is going bullish. Looks like there's lots of calls. He's seeing massive volume on calls versus puts. Looks like the 200 calls for February 26. Short-term calls and deep into money trades. The put buying is mostly hedging. So that's interesting. Bulls are loading up. Look at that. Options flow, call versus puts, clearly stated on the chart there. So we'll see. It looks like there's a lot of people buying calls. I know someone in the chat was. So, we'll see what happens. Screams moon mission incoming, it says. And let's see it. So it mentioned the strikes 200 and what? The current price is 182. So I looked at 200 strikes. I mean, is that above? Yeah, that's above all-time highs. People are going out the money, buying those out the money calls. Maybe institutions are hedging their shorts. You never know, but that is quite a bit more calls than puts, according to Sidekick. Is CrowdStrike reporting? Yeah, definitely giving hopium, right? It's not always a good thing to be on the crowded side of the trade, though, I will say. Is CrowdStrike reporting today? Yes. So that will be cool. We'll take a look at that when it comes out. Okta reported, what was it, yesterday? They did really good on earnings. I believe it was a double beat, really good forward guidance. But it looks like today they got kind of shot back down. Yeah, they're down. Well, they're technically up from yesterday, but they did not hold. It looks like they hit 98. Let's put on the after hours candle. So, looks like it hit resistance here at this kind of level. Came back down, and see what happens with CrowdStrike. Path stock. Yeah, I'll take a look at Path. What does Sidekick say about Path? Let me take a look real quick. Let's ask Karen. Karen is always fun. Karen. Karen, is going to... Let's just do this. My quick prompt. Give me the bull and bear case of my current open chart symbol, which happens to be Path. Minimize that while it does it. It's looking like on the weekly chart, Path had a bullish divergence. We got to be careful not to miss the earnings here. I mean, at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard or 4 p.m. Eastern, we'll probably get some movement on Nvidia. So I'm going to pull that up. So let's do this real quick, and then we'll pull back open Nvidia. So reviewing the chart for Path, we'll see what Karen has to say. She's going to be pissed off that I even asked her anything, but that's all right because she'll give probably some decent analysis. Let's see. If you really want to be optimistic, the bull path is AI agent revolution, earnings momentum. Yeah, the earnings look good. Analyst price target recovery, market position, good amount of customers. Look at your own chart from 80 plus highs to 11. That's 86% decline, obviously. Looks like a lot of analyst downgrades to 10, which is not terrible. Negative PE ratio. Are they not profitable? Let's pull up EPS. EPS looks mostly positive. Revenue growth has slowed. Oh, look at that. I read the RSI divergence indicator on my chart. 5265 resistance. That's like way up there. I was just reading an indicator I had up. So that was a decent analysis. But hold on. NVIDIA earnings is coming out in just a second. Let me pull it up on our chart. 1 minute, and we're going to get the after hours movement. It looks like we got a nice bump up there. At least on the 1 minute. Nothing really crazy. Let's see. You got 1 minute, everybody. 1 minute, everybody. Tune into the chart that I have open on my screen because we're probably about to get some movement. What do y'all think is going to happen? I think a lot of volume is going to come in any minute. Got the after hours movement set up on our chart. So this should be fun. Any second now, We're praying for you. We're praying for your calls. We are praying for your calls because it's going to, not just for your calls, but the entire market sentiment is probably going to be based somewhat on this. All right, here's the moment of truth. There was a significant amount of volume, looks like printed there, but not a whole lot of movement. Let's see what happens. Let's see what smuggled GPUs to China myself. Yeah, might have to go ahead and do that. All right, are we going to see some movement? Should get somewhat of movement. We're probably not going to get the earnings drop until a little bit here, at least like 5, 10, 15 minutes after. We will see. Speaking of that, let's get my news widget up on the left so that when this drops, we will be able to see it. Let's see. Nothing yet. But when it comes through, we will go ahead and see it. For now, all we can rely on is the price action, which is really all that matters at the end of the day, if we're being honest. It looks like we're getting some movement to the upside here. Movement up. Big movement up. Big movement up. Oh, let's see. This is the 1 minute chart. I'm not used to watching 1 minute charts. Maybe, yeah, that was 0.21%. But we're going to get some movement any second here. That was a decent candle there. And let's see. Sure, all of you guys with your calls are sitting here very anxiously. I should have looked at the expel. After this movement happens, I'll go ahead and pull up the Mentor Q expected moves based on option pricing. Should be fun to watch, but it's looking okay for the bulls right now. I mean, we're up since close like right here. So yeah, we're overall up. Intraday high is like 182.50, it looks like ish. So we're pretty close to the intraday high, I believe. Yeah, it looks like actually we're probably going to be getting them in about 10 to 15, probably, yeah, 10-ish minutes. We'll probably get the numbers and we'll get some more movement, but still fun to watch the charts. I know every time I switch from the 1 minute chart, so like, all right, it's not happening yet. And it ends up happening like 2 seconds later. So I'm scared to switch my chart here. Let's see. But we're moving up pretty nicely. Of about 0.43% so far. It's about to start running off my chart. Let me try to refresh this news. Nothing yet. Oh, Sujay, you're in puts. All right. Got the RSI on the 1 minute curling up. If that means anything, I don't know. About to hit 70, which is that overbought-ish level. I don't think we do regional pricing. You have to check the landing page. I'll drop the link to it. TrendSpider is on sale right now, everybody. I'll drop the link to it, to the Labor Day sale in the chat. You can try the platform out for just $7 right now. See if you guys like it. Test out all the indicators and all the stuff that we're adding. This indicator, this RSI divergence one right here, was submitted to our hackathon. And the person that won it, submitted it, not won. We don't know who won yet, to be honest. We're going to be announcing that on Friday. But they're competing for up to $10,000 in cash prizes. So if you go to the TrendSpider store, which I'll link below, you'll see what I'm talking about. Sidekick. Everybody on TrendSpider does get some free Sidekick messages. So you will be able to use Sidekick. Yes, it will just be, they're always limited in messages because, guys, it's very expensive to run Sidekick. If you know about like API costs and stuff like that for AI, and the amount of data that Sidekick has access to that it's constantly sorting through. Every single time you guys type a message in there, it costs money and it's not cheap. So just imagine, thousands and thousands of prompts going in, how expensive that gets. So I know, the pricing does maybe seem higher than like obviously just this ChatGPT subscription, but it is a lot more than just your regular AI tool with how much data it has access to. But again, everybody gets free messages that reset every month. So you'll at least get to use it no matter what, even if you don't buy it. What's up, Azir? Good to have you in here. Let's take a look here. Nvidia is looking pretty good, you guys. It's steadily moving up. We're just patiently waiting for the numbers that are probably going to come out in about 9 minutes. It's about 9 minutes. Let's see. Let's prompt Sidekick while we're sitting here. Let's use Simon real quick. Oh, we're getting a big movement up there. Pretty good. Drag this over a little bit. I'm going to say Nvidia earnings comes out very shortly. What should traders and investors be watching for, and how does video look going into earnings? We're going to send in that prompt to our Sidekick and see if you can spot anything with Simon, the data dude. He's, very big on numbers and tables and all that stuff. Numbers are not out yet. They will be out in 8 minutes. So we won't have the numbers. Obviously, they're not out yet. But we're going to get a nice little preview of what is potentially about to happen. All right, let's see. Given the proximity of Nvidia's earnings today, post-market, I guess, well, here's what traders and investors should watch. So EPS consensus is 98 cents and revenue consensus is 46 billion. That's a $2 billion increase from last revenue reporting and 2 cents higher than, it says right there. Perfect. Obviously, growth is expected to continue up. Pretty solid fundamentals still. Gross margin, 60%, revenue growth, 69% year over year. I mean, look at that revenue. I mean, you can see it up here is just straight up. We all knew that. Let's see. Oh, pulled some price target upgrades in August. Highest target is 240 right now from Cantor Fitzgerald. Current price is 181, and the average target recently is 215. Analysts are still bullish. Whether you think that's a good thing or not, it's debatable. Yes, you can connect Interactive Broker's account to TrendSpider via Signal Stack, and you can place trades with our trading widget on it. And that's basically free because the only thing that Signal Stack uses credits for, that you have to pay for, is if you're running automated trading bots. But if you're just using the trading widget, you can actually trade right from the charts for free. Yes, results should be in about, I think, 5 minutes. Let's see what else. So pretty good analyst targets from Wall Street. Options activity. Let's see. The options market is pricing in. Oh, look at that. Approximately 8 to 12% move post earnings. based on straddle premiums. That's very cool. That is very cool. December 2027, $200 calls and puts showing long-term positioning. Yeah, so it's talking about those calls, lots of calls, it looks like, that we saw earlier. 180 puts heavily traded at 1 DTE is sort of interesting. Let's see. Yeah, no problem. Where to watch the results? You can watch them right here. I mean, we're watching the charts. The actual earnings call is going to come later on. I can probably find a link. If you just type NVIDIA Investor Relations, let's see when the call is honestly going on anyway. Take a look. Yeah, I found the link. If you want to watch the earnings call, when is it going to be? It's at 2 p.m. Pacific. It's in about an hour until the earnings call. If you wanted to go ahead and watch that. I mean, it's already above 180 USD, but we'll see. I mean, the price is going to be significantly different here in probably about 4 minutes. Probably. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But steadily moving up here on Nvidia. Looking pretty good. Is it 4:20 Eastern? Okay. Yeah. Probably got 5 to 10 minutes till we see some real movement. Let's see. So this was Simon's take on it. Brought open some options activity. Based on the options activity before the Nvidia earnings that are about to come out, would you say the flow is more bullish or bearish? Bam. Let's see what sidekick has to say, because I saw it brought up some, options activity here, but it didn't say a whole lot other than the 8 to 12% move. So I'm just prompting it one more time, asking how that options activity looks. And this is to Simon, a little bit different personality than the last one. Let's see. Key patterns he sees based on the high option trend that shows a defensive leaning bias with hedging behavior, right? So yeah, I mean, that's generally what options show anyway. It's kind of speculative whether, my opinion, whether this stuff is bullish or bearish, because it can be on either side. It can be for hedging. Yes. Even if Nvidia, well, if your strike is 185, yeah, you probably paid some, extrinsic value, some time value. But 185 is pretty close to the money, which is where it's trading at now. So, if it goes significantly above 185, you should be fine. I mean, IV will definitely play a role, depending on the days till expiration you picked as well. But yeah, if you didn't know that options have time decay or theta, so yeah, you most definitely can lose money on implied volatility alone, even if you pick the direction right. So that's why buying options through earnings is always tough, because the implied volatility going into any earnings is going to be super high, which means you're naturally overpaying for these contracts. And so, it's all about the expected move. If it goes higher than expected move, generally you'll be fine, but usually that expected move is very high. So you really just betting on a large movement when you're buying options. So this is what Simon has to say. Protecting long positions with puts, of course, buying calls for post-earnings momentum, positioning for volatility rather than direction. That is the smart thing to do. It's really what you're trading when you trade options is volatility. large spread from 160 to 210 indicates uncertainty about earnings impact and how, people are buying real far out the money stuff here. But here's some defensive hedging that it showed. Massive 180 put buying, 210, 190 puts, 1.9 million combined. That's pretty good on this 1DT option. So yeah, this 1DT highlighting the 180 strike, and then 2.1 million on the October call. He's got a couple months out. So, I mean, it's really pretty tough to tell here, guys. As always, people are probably just using options to, protect what they already have in their portfolio. Let's see. Wow, they got some. There's a December 27th, $70 call, which is real far in the money. 1.2 million on that one. It's like the put premium is a little bit higher. That makes sense. I mean, with where it is trading right now at nearly all-time highs, people are obviously going to want to protect themselves. Let's see. We got 4 minutes probably. Let's see. I'm reading this comment. Options should always be at least 2 months out, especially going into earnings. Anything shorter than that is lotto because it's statistically improbable a stock price will rise that substantially to actually print profit in that time frame. Yeah, so the implied volatility is always going to be the highest on the earnings. The expiration directly after earnings is a good thing to note. So if you do go out further, you will be affected a little bit less from IV when it comes to buying options. Monkey Man, it can't directly create the scanner for you, but you can help give you ideas for a scanner for sure. ASST. I've not seen ASST. I'll take a look though after the Nvidia earnings, see what happens there. Should have about 3 minutes till I get some real movement here. Yeah. Definitely gambling on earnings. Well, trading earnings, gambling, trading earnings with options, specifically buying options is yeah, it's gambling really. I mean, it's fun, but you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. And it sure can be fun though, or really not fun. Either way, it gets the heart racing. But Nvidia just keeps climbing, honestly. Snow has results today as well. That will be a good one. We got CRWD and Snow. Hold on, we got 1 minute or so. Looks like we just broke a new high, aftermarket high at least. We're getting right. Always, I think we just broke an intraday high. It's not missed a move here. Yeah, there's a clear couple points of resistance that we're sitting at right now, actually, for today. I'll pull up Snow here in a second. Yeah, this is a very, very important level where we're just sitting at right now, you guys. I'll remove that for now. Let's see. We should get some movement here any second. Let's see if I can time this. Hey, I got a new something for you guys. What do you think of my soundboard? Maybe adding some sounds to this. That was terrible timing. Maybe I'll get it next time. Movement. We getting movement. 120 just struck the clock. Drum roll. We're moving up. We're moving up pretty good, but not anything too wild here. Let me refresh my news widget. Oh, we're getting a rip up right now. I think numbers probably got released. Yeah, Snowflake was up 11%. Oh, Nvidia is dying right now. Nvidia is absolutely dying right now. You have to zoom this chart out. What is that move? What is that move? 3.8% to the downside right there. Let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Oh, no. Yeah, RSI just absolutely tanked. Absolutely tanked. Okay, NVIDIA Q2. Adjusted EPS 1.05 beats. So EPS beat, sales beat, it looks like. From this news source, it looks like a double beat. It looks like, but yeah, looks like a double beat, but they are coming down right now. They're down over 5%. Down over 5% here. Look at that. You never know. At least your options aren't moving right now. Maybe it comes back up. Yeah, I'm seeing a double beat as well. Maybe it'll come back up. It looked like the result was good with the double beat. But, welcome to the markets. That doesn't mean stonks move up every time. Let me see. Yeah, I'm seeing a double beat, you guys. But the stock was not loving that one. Had to zoom out my chart a little bit for that move. But you never know. We got the Nvidia earnings call in about 40 minutes. So he could come up and say something, pretty bullish that revives it. You never know. You never know. But so far, yeah, it's not looking super great. Let me zoom out to the 5-minute. Oof. Let me go to the daily, honestly, and see what we're looking at. So, you're really not down that bad. Still above this channel support, around the 167, 168 low. But yeah, not super fun. If you're buying, going just to play these earnings, congrats to everybody who shorted. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart here. Yeah, pretty. Compared to what it was expected to move, I think was 8 to 12%. Sidekick said, we're in that expected range. So no matter what, if you bought calls or puts right now, you're probably not going to be super hot. At least if we open tomorrow at this current price, just because stock just simply didn't move enough. You paid too much premium thanks to the implied volatility. I'm quickly going to take a look. I don't want to miss any big moves here. But I do want to see what Nvidia and Intel are doing on this news, to be honest. Let's take a quick peek. AMD is down. Intel is also down. Whole semiconductor market's down. Let's check out CrowdStrike. CrowdStrike is down on earnings. Okta down a little bit. Back to Nvidia. Looks like we seem to find somewhat of a bottom there at 172 or so. We're retracing up pretty good here, you guys. I don't know if any of you guys like to gamble on after hours earnings moves, but if you're able to somehow buy at those lows, very, very sketchy, but sometimes could work. Like a 2% move up. Let's see. I just feel like timing those moves reliable, managing risks as almost possible. If you're talking about timing earnings moves, I mean, yeah, it's very tough just to do, especially if you're just picking direction. Like if you build some I don't know, kind of direction neutral bias, you could do okay, maybe like straddles or strangles or multi-leg strategies. But yeah, just picking a call or put to buy on earnings is just like there's not much strategy there. Guidance reported as oh yeah, I just see that pulling up right now. $60 billion buyback. Amazing, amazing news. Nvidia sees Q3 sales 52.9 to 55. So yeah, improved guidance. I mean, guys, they killed it on earnings. From guidance, they announced the buyback, beat EPS, beat revenue. Investors can't really ask for a whole lot more. So yeah, very good stuff. Very, very good stuff. And it looks like we're retracing a lot of that movement down right now. Already back up 2.6% from the close. So we initially went down nearly 6%, and now we're down about 2%. We're only down 2%, you guys, on Nvidia. Nothing crazy. I'm waiting for, let's see. Yeah, there's no saying what sent it down like that. I just hit all the stop loss and now it's going to go higher. Yeah, maybe. I mean, if people have stop losses that work after hours for sure, or maybe people are panic selling, who knows? Who knows? But look at that. I mean, that would have been such a nice scalp up from the bottom. Obviously, very risky. It was not even, it only dropped 5%, 6% or so. When the expected move was like 8 to 12%. So buying at that level, again, definitely risky. But, it would have been a fun scalp. Take a look at the daily candle here now that we've retraced. You see this wick forming. That's going to be a different daily candle on the regular non-extended hours. But, it hasn't been, they reported great earnings. Fundamentals are awesome. Guidance is great. I don't know. Maybe it's just too close to all-time high for people. These institutions want to send it higher. We can take a look, see if there is any institutional trades here. filter this by symbol to Nvidia. Now, see, these are pretty small trades. Let's put so there's lots of trades on Nvidia today. Nothing that big. You see the dollar amount, the biggest was a sell. Looks like Seneca Financial Advisors making some moves, buying and selling. But let's filter this. Dollar amount greater than, let's do million. Yeah, and guys, we still have the earnings call in 30 minutes. And we really haven't dropped that much since. Oh, we got some pretty decent amount of institutional trades here on Nvidia. These guys own 1.2 million shares, and they bought, $10 million worth of Nvidia just 8 days ago, last week. Now it's a 6% valuation. Crazy. Yeah, that buyback news is always my favorite. Good guidance and buyback news. That is kind of both forward-looking stuff. And that is exactly what the market price is in today. This stuff that's going to happen in the future. So that's always big on my, list of things that I look out for during earnings releases. Okay, it looks like the numbers got into our reports tab. So now let's just stop using our brains real quick and just ask Sidekick. Because why use your brain anymore when you have AI tools like Sidekick? Putting a pretty, I went kind of crazy with this prompt, but the output's going to be pretty good. Yeah, Lieber, if you're brand new to options, I don't know. I'd be careful just, blindly, not blindly, but just buying and selling them. Probably better off, I don't know if you're new to the stock market in general, just options, but, that one doesn't hurt to just trade some equity. Options are fun, though. Let's see. Let me make sure this is pulling the right one because this just dropped. So as you can see my output here from Sidekick. This is the earnings prompt that I use. Pretty long. If you guys want it, let me know. I can drop it in the chat, but it doesn't matter. Basically, it plots everything. So the EPS actual, EPS surprise, and year-over-year percent. We got a 6% surprise, and then 52% year-over-year increase for EPS. Let me make sure that read. These just dropped, so I want to make sure it's accurate. Yeah, it looks like the revenue actual versus, beat by just 1.3% surprise, but 55% year-over-year growth, which, I mean, that growth is 55%. Their revenue growth has been steadily dropping, you guys. So, yeah, it's great growth, but look at it. If you look down here, you see 200%, 262, 122, 93, 77, 69, and now 55. That revenue growth is slowing down. Still good growth. And so is EPS. And then have this table here comparing it to competitors. Look at that. Price to sales for an AMD is much lower than Nvidia's, but the PE ratio for AMD is higher. It's interesting. EV to sales for an AMD is lower. Let's see what else we got. So let's just look at EV to sales. That's usually pretty good, and price to sales pretty similar usually, as you can see. Yeah, 20 price to sales for Nvidia. That's getting a little bit up there, not gonna lie. It's pretty much the highest out of most of its competitors that Sidekick pulled. 2 times the price of sales of Nvidia. AVGO 16, still a little better. QCOM only 4. Did not pull Intel. Yes, not super big competitor. Let's see. So the bull versus bear case for Nvidia based on these earnings, they have strong margins for bull case, momentum, year-over-year growth. Of course, is good. Growing adjustments in robotics, automotive, all that stuff. Of course, clear leadership in AI and GPU compute. That's definitely true. Bear case, valuation stretched. Yeah, that price of sales is higher than pretty much all of its competitors. AMD, I mentioned AMD, threatened market share. Semiconductor down cycles historically hit high multiple stocks the hardest. That is true. Compared to stocks like Tesla, obviously not kind of comparable, but with the P ratio of 36, it's not super stretched. Like Tesla would first thing that comes to mind, or even like Palantir is something that comes to mind before Nvidia when it comes to things with really high multiples. But yeah, that was pretty good. Pretty good analysis. Love Sidekick. So very nice bull and bear case. I love this table that spits out for me. Just compares it to all of its competitors. Nvidia, as you can see, has by far the largest market cap. And yeah, Nvidia looks like it rejected that sort of 180 level so far. Yeah, realistically, I kind of agree. I mean, holding through earnings because you're holding equity, you believe in the company is one thing. That's, all investors have to do that. You can't just avoid earnings, but, just buying options before earnings, never the safest way to trade. Yeah, the guidance was good. I mean, the earnings really couldn't have been much better. I mean, the earnings could have been better. You want to see the higher change growth. You don't want to see this declining. It's making people and investors think that the growth rate of, the rate of change of the revenue growth is slowing down, which it is, which is probably what's causing the decline, if anything, because obviously the buyback news is amazing. The forward guidance was amazing. So it's really only that. But we'll have to see. There's going to be the earnings call here in about 20 minutes. So take a look if you are, in this company. Definitely a good one to watch. This is a custom indicator that I just put on the chart. It's called the trend strength candles. You can see it's kind of went from, this lime green and cyan bullish trend to more of consolidation here. Put it onto the after hours candles, and it's actually starting to turn red. So ever since like August 12th, it's been kind of consolidating on the trend strength, at least according to this this indicator. Really cool indicator. Does a lot of math behind the scenes for you and just determines the strength of a stock's trend, paints the candles as such. And it seems to do pretty well with identifying these reversals, like pretty much nearly the bottom. Like the trend falling, you'd never get in the bottom on trend falling. But look at this. This candle turned green pretty close to the bottom there. And this is using EMA to the SMA, the 21 EMA to the 50 SMA. Interesting. Remove this around, but you can see this would have gotten you in pretty low. And now it's flipping to really kind of bearish on this candle, but it's flipping to consolidation there, signaling the trend is slowing strength-wise. Yeah, of course. Bonita. Glad to have you in. Glad to have you in. We do these lives, yeah, for a lot of earnings, a lot of events, a lot of FOMC events, all that good stuff. So glad to have you. If you guys aren't already, hit subscribe, hit the like too, and hit the notification bell. That way, you know, anytime we go live, because we do live coverage of, you know, lots of the top hype market moving events, like these big earnings releases, like FOMCs. We were live for Jackson Hole last week, of course. So again, if you're not already, definitely subscribe. It would help us out a lot and keep us able to, you know, keep going live for you guys. And what did I prompt here? Yeah, that was the same prompt. But yeah, let's see what we're down so far. Market closed like here. We're down 3%, guys. Basically, if you sold, that's the other side with options. We had Tom Sosnoff on from Tasty Trade or Tasty Live a couple lives ago, or a couple weeks ago, at least at this point, maybe even longer. But they over there like to sell options, and anybody selling options for this Nvidia release definitely is probably going to be making some money tomorrow, at least if the stock opens where it's at now. By the way, I was wanting to show the expected move using Mentor Q gamma levels. I have to pull up my API key though, if I can find it. But I'm going to show you guys what the expected move was on one of our custom indicators here, which is Mentor Q. He's got to put in this API key. We're going to do intraday because it updates. I'll hide this. And real quick, let me hide a lot of these JEX levels because probably don't need to see all of those. But this Mentor Q indicator, we're actually going to be going live with them sometime next week, showing off the new updates to have to their indicators. But basically what it does is it uses option flows and shows you the expected moves. Let me make sure this is set up properly. So it's intraday. Yeah, that should be good. So it's looking like, let's go to like the 1 hour. Turn off per session volume by price for a second. So this is the expected move to the downside was 174. Expected move to the upside is 188. So basically what this means, essentially puts, if you bought puts, you would have needed it to break below 174 to make money, theoretically, basically, and then break above 188 for your calls to win. And this is the one that updates intraday. If you want to see the one that updated market close, yeah, it's pretty close. 173 to, yeah. So for you guys to have made money on options, you'd have had to see the stock go to at least like 190, 188 to 190-ish. And for puts to make money, you'd have to seen it go below 173-ish, 174. And we're sitting in between that range still, which means the people that sold the options are going to make money because it didn't move enough for the premium to be worth it on the buy side. I've not been looking at the August 29th expiry of SPX. No. What makes you say there's a huge potential there? Curious. 1000%. Yeah, this is another one of those indicators I submitted to the hackathon. It is a analyst ratings table. Basically pulls all the analyst ratings from the last 5 days. And see on Nvidia here, we had one on 825, two on 825, both buys, 212 and 225 targets. Go back to the 1 minute. Yeah, I mean, put that down. Definitely the market is not liking it. I don't know if it was whether or not it's trading near all-time highs and people are just taking profits. Maybe it was the decline of revenue growth. That's definitely part of it, I think, that made the stock come down. Did see a nice little mean reversion. Was looking pretty solid for a second, but at this point, we got the call starting in 14 minutes. That's going to set the tone for the stock going into tomorrow. So, yeah, you guys. Probably not much else going here. Is there anything else you guys are looking at? I think someone mentioned ASST. Not sure what this is. I don't know if they meant this or ASTS. Oh, this is interesting. Insane revenue growth. Went from making 200K to 170 million. That is absolutely insane. It's like a negative PE ratio, I think, which means how's their EPS though? They're still, even with that revenue jump, how are they still not making money? I don't know what this is, but someone dropped it in the chat not too long ago. Very insane revenue growth there. Probably a decent one to check out, I would say. Let's just look up some of the other hype tickers. UNH. I don't know if anyone here is in UNH, but it looks like they had a solid day today. They have been, after this Buffett pump that occurred on this gap, they've been consolidating. So that should be fun to watch going forward. I don't know if they're going to fill. They have two gaps to fill to the downside and one to the upside now. So that's a good one. LOY has been pretty hype. Had that gap down and kind of filling it. Let's see how the cannabis stocks are doing. MSOS continuing up. Looks like it's breaking out of that recent high there. Obviously has that massive gap to fill. I don't know. Do you guys think we get some good cannabis rescheduling news? Would be pretty cool if we did, honestly. I was thinking about playing this one, but it's just up so much. I mean, look at this monthly candle. I mean, it's just the story of these cannabis stocks is it pumps and it dumps. So, like, yeah, maybe the news is really good and ends up playing out. But, yeah, it's kind of hard to buy after that 174% increase. Google. Google. And Google's sitting near all-time high, pretty much at all-time highs. Why do you say Google gets killed? Check out Apple. Apple's been retracing pretty nice. Check out Meta. It's like it's starting to fill the gap to the downside on Meta. How's Bitcoin reacting? Bitcoin is sitting at pretty much this 110,000 pivot. Hasn't really been moving a ton. Curious to see what ETH is up to. ETH, is that all? Yeah, it's all-time highs basically, or hit it recently at least. Nearly 5K. Maybe it did on some exchanges. I think Solana was ripping today. Yeah, Solana over 208. Looking pretty good. I mean, it's fighting that resistance pretty hard. Got multiple wicks on the week. Makes sense. But it's looking solid. Crypto's hanging in there pretty nice. I haven't really looked at Netflix in a long time. Yeah, they're doing really good still. Also, we recently added Buffett buys to the What's Happening Now tab. So if you go down here to What's Happening Now, you can filter out for Warren Buffett's buys or Berkshire Hathaway. So let's see what Buffett has been buying. We all know he bought UNH. He also bought this DHI. Interesting. DR Horton. I think that's Domino's, DPZ. Not really going anywhere, but it looks okay. We all know, again, he bought UNH down there, caused the pump. STZ, Constellation. It's an interesting one. Yeah, bought STZ. He bought these all, or I think the date, I'm not sure if he bought on that day or reported on that date. I have to double check that. CVX is a CVS, or Chevron. Okay, nice. Energy has been doing good lately, so that's probably up. And yes, you bought a solid amount, about over $1 billion, 1.5 billion in UNH. That was like his biggest buy. He's in pretty good into STZ. Yeah, UNH. This would be a very fun one to see play out. Very fun to see play out. All right. Is there anything else you guys are watching? If not, probably going to cut the stream off. Because we already saw the Nvidia move. Looked at some other stonks. Let's pull this up. Yeah, it really bottomed out here really at like 174, like 170, held that. And that was, yeah, it didn't even get down to its low end of the range there, which, yeah, not bad. Honestly, not great, but could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot worse. Amazon, yeah, that's one. Yeah, I'll check out Amazon and Tmdx. Amazon's nearing all-time highs. You can see up here around the 240 range is all-time high. When did they have earnings? Or they had? Looks like the recent earnings they beat. Pretty good on revenue. EPS. Really good EPS. They beat again on EPS. Yeah, I mean, Amazon's a powerhouse. It's looking great. Wouldn't be surprised to see it hit all-time highs, to be honest. Throw up the PE ratio and the analyst estimates indicator. So the average analyst estimate is around 265. That's all-time highs. High is over 300, and the lowest analyst target is 228. Look at that PE ratio just continually. Look at that. Stock is moving up, and the PE ratio is just declining. I mean, Amazon looks incredible. Tmdx. What is this? Transmedics. I think that EPS growth is really nice. Revenue growth is insane. P ratio is a little bit up there. Let's do a deep dive into it. Tmdx. I don't know much about this company. So let's just send it into Sidekick and get a quick analysis. You guys, we posted a meme the other day. It was like the three guys, the guy in the middle that's doing all the research manually, looking at SEC filings, the fundamentals, and the dumb guy on the left is like, just use Sidekick or just ask Sidekick. And this really smart on the right saying, just ask Sidekick. I mean, it's so true. I mean, look at this. Why would you go and just do all this stuff yourself when you can literally just ask Sidekick? and it's going to pull out all the stuff that you honestly probably could have potentially missed. So it has the only FDA approved portable multi-organ warm perfusion platform. Sounds interesting. I actually think I've heard of that. This company transforms organ preservation from cold to a living environment in a 2 billion organ transplant market. Sounds really cool. 83% revenue growth, accelerating profitability, net margins improved to 22%, gross margins consistently above 60%, current ratio is good, return on equity trending up. They have an expanding market opportunity. Let's look at the bear case. The current P ratio is high, which makes sense for the revenue growth. So it looks like the business faces several critical vulnerabilities. Single facility manufacturing in Massachusetts. Limited customer base. Lots of revenue concentration. Supply chain dependencies. Requiring specialized pilots, aircraft, and coordination across multiple time zones. That makes sense. They have 460 million in convertible notes due in 2028 that they'll have to worry about in a few years. They're burning cash on aircraft acquisitions and expansion, 60 million in debt with restrictive covenants, high concentration risk, market reality check. Despite the compelling technology, this market is inherently limited by donor availability and hospital capacity. To bottom line, while the technology is very revolutionary, the current valuation appears to price in perfection, and there's lots of execution risks and market constraints that are the downside potential for this. That was an insanely good breakdown of the stock. That was awesome. Just learned everything about this company in like one prompt. Let's take a look at the charts. Fundamentals are cool and all, but what really matters in trading is usually the chart. And what I see is I see a level here that I bounced off of that it's probably, and it's at 98. So realistically, like the 100 level is going to be the psychological zone that bulls are going to want to hold. But if you really believe in the company, buying it under 98 would be ideal. See about 2 million recently is interesting. Actually, I kind of remember seeing that. We can CO buying on stock here. We're going to do this on symbol Tmdx. Let's see if we have that data. Yeah. CO did buy. Looks like 2 separate transactions, 2 separate days, but $1 million each. So that's always a good sign. That was on August 6th and 7th. Right around this area. So pretty much the current price. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a really cool business. Probably, I mean, what's the range look like on this? Like the recent range is like 50%. It's a solid range to trade. This to this, 150%. Definitely some money to be made trading here. I wouldn't say the chart looks like anything fantastic. It did have this nice breakout here. By the way, I think the Nvidia call is about to start. Probably not going to stick around and watch it, but at least we'll stick around and see what happens. The stock is moving up. Going into the call. It starts in about a minute. Yeah, you never know with LLMs. If you asked it specific, I mean, I just literally just asked, give me the bull and bear case. So it's not always going to, LLMs are like, if you ask the same prompt 10 different times, you're going to get 10 different, like similar but different responses. It'll pull different data. I mean, there's so much data for it to pull from. Generally, it'll probably give you the same stuff, like fundamentally, like all these risks, concentration risks, and all that. But the specific data decides to pull. You never know what it's going to do. And that's just an LLM thing in general. If you build a prompt that you'd want to, that's why it's very important to prompt it, because if you have specific things that you look for, like insider buying, like if you prompt to be like, look at these specific fundamentals, look at insider buying, look at Congress trading, I mean, that's is going to give you a way better output than just what I put here is just give me the bull and bear case of the current chart, you know? So these AI tools really give you what you put in. So yeah. But regardless, you know, you could probably put this in a few times, and I bet you at least a couple of the times it would have pulled that data. Nvidia, what are you going to do on the call? Let me see if I can just pull it up. Oh, I think you have to sign up. A Q4 account? I don't want to make a Q4 account. I'll continue without one. Let's just put in a name here. See if I can finesse this.
Of significant risks and uncertainties, and our actual results may differ materially. For a discussion of factors that could affect our future financial results and business,
Can you guys hear that?
Please refer to the disclosure in today's earnings release, our most recent Forms 10-K and 10-Q, and the reports that we may file on Form 8-K with the Securities and Exchange Commission. All our statements are made as of today, August 27th, 2025, based on information currently available to us. Except as required by law, we assume no obligation to update any such statements. During this call, we will discuss non-GAAP financial measures. You can find a reconciliation of these non-GAAP financial measures to GAAP financial measures in our CFO commentary, which is posted on our website. With that, let me turn the call over to Colette.
Thank you, Toshio. We delivered another record quarter while navigating what continues to be a dynamic external environment. Total revenue was $46.7 billion, exceeded our outlook as we grew sequentially across all market platforms. Data center revenue grew 56% year over year. Data center revenue also grew sequentially despite the $4 billion decline in H20 revenue. Nvidia's Blackwell platform reached record levels, growing sequentially by 17%. We began production shipments of GB300 in Q2. Our full stack AI solutions for cloud service providers, neoclouds, enterprises, and sovereigns are all contributing to our growth. We are at the beginning of an industrial revolution that will transform every industry. We see $3 to $4 trillion in AI infrastructure spend by the end of the decade. The scale and scope of these buildouts present significant long-term growth opportunities for NVIDIA. The GB200 NVL system is seeing widespread adoption with deployments at CSPs and consumer internet companies. Lighthouse model builders, including OpenAI, Meta, and Mistral, are using the GB200 NVL72 at data center scale for both training next-generation models and serving inference models in production. The new Blackwell Ultra platform has also had a strong quarter, generating tens of billions in revenue. The transition to the GB300 has been seamless for major cloud service providers due to its shared architecture, software, and physical footprint with the GB200, enabling them to build and deploy GB300 racks with ease. The transition to the new GB300 rack-based architecture has been seamless. Factory builds in late July and early August were successfully converted to support the GB300 ramp, and today, full production is underway. The current run rate is back at full speed producing approximately 1,000 racks per week. This output is expected to accelerate even further throughout the third quarter as additional capacity comes online. We expect widespread market availability in the second half of the year as CoreWeave prepares to bring their GB300 instance to market, as they are already seeing 10x more inference performance on reasoning models compared to H100. Compared to the previous Hopper generation, GB300 NVL72 AI factories promise a 10x improvement in token per watt energy efficiency, which translates to revenues as data centers are power limited. The chips of the Rubin platform are in fab. The Vera CPU, Rubin GPU, CX9 SuperNIC, NVLink 144 scale up switch, Spectrum X scale out and scale across switch, and the silicon photonics processor. Rubin remains on schedule for volume production next year. Rubin will be our third generation NVLink rack scale AI supercomputer with a mature and full scale supply chain. This keeps us on track with our pace of an annual product cadence and continuous innovation across compute, networking, systems, and software. In late July, the US government began reviewing licenses for sales of H20 to China customers. While a select number of our China-based customers have received licenses over the past few weeks, we have not shipped any H20 based on those licenses. USG officials have expressed an expectation that the USG will receive 15% of the revenue generated from licensed H20 sales, but to date, the USG has not published a regulation codifying such requirement. We have not included H20 in our Q3 outlook as we continue to work through geopolitical issues. If geopolitical issues reside, we should ship $2 to $5 billion in H20 revenue in Q3. And if we had more orders, we can build more. We continue to advocate for the US government to approve Blackwell for China. Our products are designed and sold for beneficial commercial use, and every licensed sale we make will benefit the US economy, the US leadership. In highly competitive markets, we want to win the support of every developer. America's AI technology stack can be the world standard if we race and compete globally. Notably in the quarter was an increase in Hopper 100 and H200 shipments. We also sold approximately $650 million of H20 in Q2 to an unrestricted customer outside of China. The sequential increase in Hopper demand indicates the breadth of data center workloads that run on accelerated computing and the power of CUDA libraries and full stack optimizations, which continuously enhance the performance and economic value of our platform. As we continue to deliver both Hopper and Blackwell GPUs, we are focusing on meeting the soaring global demand. This growth is fueled by capital expenditures from the cloud to enterprises, which are on track to invest $600 billion in data center infrastructure and compute this calendar year alone, nearly doubling in 2 years. We expect annual AI infrastructure investments to continue growing, driven by the several factors: reasoning agentic AI requiring orders of magnitude more training and inference compute, global buildouts for sovereign AI, enterprise AI adoption, and the arrival of physical AI and robotics. Blackwell has set the benchmark as it is the new standard for AI inference performance. The market for AI inference is expanding rapidly, with reasoning and agentic AI gaining traction across industries. Blackwell's rack scale NVLink and CUDA full stack architecture addresses this by redefining the economics of inference. New NV FP4 4-bit precision and NVLink 72 on the GB300 platform delivers a 50x increase in energy efficiency per token compared to Hopper, enabling companies to monetize their compute at unprecedented scale. For instance, a $3 million investment in GB200 infrastructure can generate $30 million in token revenue, a 10x return. NVIDIA's software innovation, combined with the strength of our developer ecosystem, has already improved Blackwell's performance by more than 2x since its launch. Advances in CUDA, TensorRT LLM, and Dynamo are unlocking maximum efficiency. CUDA library contributions from the open source community, along with NVIDIA's open libraries and frameworks, are now integrated into millions of workflows. This powerful flywheel of collaborative innovation between NVIDIA and global community contribution strengthens NVIDIA's performance leadership. NVIDIA is a top contributor to OpenAI models, data, and software. Blackwell has introduced a groundbreaking numerical approach to large language model pre-training. Using NVFP4, computations on the GB300 can now achieve 7x faster training than the H100, which uses FP8. This innovation delivers the accuracy of 16-bit precision with the speed and efficiency of 4-bit, setting a new standard for AI factor efficiency and scalability. The AI industry is quickly adopting this revolutionary technology, with major players such as AWS, Google Cloud, Microsoft Azure, and OpenAI, as well as Cohere, Mistral, Kimi AI, Perplexity, Reflection, and Runway, already embracing it. NVIDIA's performance leadership was further validated in the latest MLPerf training benchmarks, where the GB200 delivered a clean sweep. Be on the lookout for the upcoming MLPerf inference results in September, which will include benchmarks based on the Blackwell Ultra. NVIDIA RTX Pro servers are in full production for the world's system makers. These are air-cooled, PCIe-based systems integrated seamlessly into standard IT environments and run traditional enterprise IT applications, as well as the most advanced agentic and physical AI applications. Nearly 90 companies, including many global leaders, are already adopting RTX Pro servers. Hitachi uses them for real-time simulation and digital twins, Lilly for drug discovery, Hyundai for factory design and AV validation, and Disney for immersive storytelling. As enterprises modernize data centers, RTX Pro servers are poised to become a multi-billion-dollar product line. Sovereign AI is one on the rise as the nation's ability to develop its own AI using domestic infrastructure, data, and talent presents a significant opportunity for NVIDIA. NVIDIA is at the forefront of landmark initiatives across the UK and Europe. The European Union plans to invest 20 billion euros to establish 20 AI factories across France, Germany, Italy, and Spain, including 5 gigafactories, to increase its AI compute infrastructure by tenfold. In the UK, the Umbard AI supercomputer powered by NVIDIA was unveiled at the country's most powerful AI system, delivering 21 exaflops of AI performance to accelerate breakthroughs in fields of drug discovery and climate modeling. We are on track to achieve over 20 billion in sovereign AI revenue this year, more than double than that of last year. Networking delivered record revenue of 7.3 billion, and escalating demands of AI compute clusters necessitate high efficiency and low latency networking. This represents a 46% sequential and 98% year-on-year increase, with strong demand across Spectrum-X Ethernet, InfiniBand, and NVLink. Our Spectrum-X enhanced Ethernet solutions provide the highest throughput and lowest latency network for Ethernet AI workloads. Spectrum-X Ethernet delivered double-digit sequential and year-over-year growth, with annualized revenue exceeding $10 billion. At Hot Chips, we introduced Spectrum XGS Ethernet, a technology designed to unify disparate data centers into gigascale AI superfactories. CoreWeave is an initial adopter of the solution, which is projected to double GPU to GPU communication speed. InfiniBand revenue nearly doubled sequentially, fueled by the adoption of XDR technology, which provides double the bandwidth improvement over its predecessor, especially valuable for the model builders. The world's fastest switch, NVLink, with 14x the bandwidth of PCIe Gen 5, delivered strong growth as customers deployed Grace Blackwell NVLink rack scale systems. The positive reception to NVLink Fusion, which allows semi-custom AI infrastructure, has been widespread. Japan's upcoming Fugaku Next will integrate Fujitsu's CPUs with our architecture via NVLink Fusion. It will run a range of workloads, including AI, supercomputing, and quantum computing. Fugaku Next joins a rapidly expanding list of leading quantum supercomputing and research centers running on Nvidia's CUDA-Q quantum platform, including ULIC, AIST, NNF, and NERSC, supported by over 300 ecosystem partners, including AWS, Google Quantum AI, Quantinium, QEra, and PsiQuantum. Jetson Thor, our new robotics computing platform, is now available. Thor delivers an order of magnitude greater AI performance and energy efficiency than Nvidia AGX Orin. It runs the latest generative and reasoning AI models at the edge in real time, enabling state-of-the-art robotics. Adoption of Nvidia's robotics full-stack platform is growing at rapid rate. Over 2 million developers and 1,000 plus hardware, software applications, and sensor partners taking our platform to market. Leading enterprises across industries have adopted Thor, including Agility Robotics, Amazon Robotics, Boston Dynamics, Caterpillar, Figure, Hexagon, Medtronic, and Meta. Robotic applications require exponentially more compute on the device and in infrastructure, representing a significant long-term demand driver for our data center platform. NVIDIA Omniverse with Cosmos is our data center physical AI digital twin platform built for development of robot and robotic systems. This quarter, we announced a major expansion of our partnership with Siemens to enable AI automatic factories, leading European robotics companies, including Agile Robots, Neuro Robotics, and Universal Robots, are building their latest innovations with the Omniverse platform. Transitioning to a quick summary of our revenue by geography. China declined on a sequential basis to low single digits percentage of data center revenue. Note, our Q3 outlook does not include H20 shipments to China customers. Singapore revenue represented 22% of second quarter's billed revenue as customers have centralized their invoicing in Singapore. Over 99% of data center compute revenue billed to Singapore was for US-based customers. Our gaming revenue was a record $4.3 billion, a 14% sequential increase and a 49% jump year on year. This was driven by the ramp of Blackwell GeForce GPUs as strong sales continued as we increased supply availability. This quarter, we shipped GeForce RTX 5060 desktop GPU. It brings double the performance along with advanced ray tracing, neural rendering, and AI-powered DLSS4 gameplay to millions of gamers worldwide. Blackwell is coming to GeForce Now in September. This is GeForce Now's most significant upgrade, offering RTX 5080 class performance, minimal latency, and 5K resolution at 120 frames per second. We are also doubling the GeForce Now catalog to over 4,500 titles, the largest library of any cloud gaming service. For AI enthusiasts, on-device AI performs the best RTX GPUs. We partnered with OpenAI to optimize their open source GPT models for high quality, fast, and efficient inference on millions of RTX-enabled Windows devices. With the RTX platform stack, Windows developers can create AI applications designed to run on the world's largest AI PC user base. Professional visualization revenue reached $601 million, a 32% year-on-year increase. Growth was driven by an adoption of the high-end RTX workstation GPUs and AI-powered workload like design, simulation, and prototyping. Key customers are leveraging our solutions to accelerate their operations. Activision Blizzard uses RTX workstations to enhance creative workflows, while robotics innovator Figure AI powers its humanoid robots with RTX embedded GPUs. Automotive revenue, which includes only in-car compute revenue, was $586 million, up 69% year-on-year, primarily driven by self-driving solutions. We have begun shipments of Nvidia Thor SoC, the successor to Orin. Thor's arrival coincides with the industry's accelerating shift to vision, language, model architecture, generative AI, and higher levels of autonomy. Thor is the most successful robotics and AV computer we've ever created. Thor Willpower. Our full stack drive AV software platform is now in production, opening up billions to new revenue opportunities for NVIDIA while improving vehicle safety and autonomy. Now moving to the rest of our P&L. GAAP gross margin was 72.4%, and non-GAAP gross margin was 72.7%. These figures include a $180 million or 40 basis point benefit from releasing previously reserved H20 inventory. Excluding this benefit, non-GAAP gross margins would have been 72.3%, still exceeding our outlook. GAAP operating expenses rose 8% and 6% on a non-GAAP basis sequentially. This increase was driven by higher compute and infrastructure costs, as well as higher compensation and benefit costs. To support the ramp of Blackwell and Blackwell Ultra, inventory increased sequentially from $11 billion to $15 billion in Q2. While we prioritize funding our growth and strategic initiatives, in Q2, we returned $10 billion to shareholders through share repurchases and cash dividends. Our board of directors recently approved a $60 billion share repurchase authorization to add to our remaining $14.7 billion of authorization at the end of Q2. Okay, let me turn it to the outlook for the third quarter. Total revenue is expected to be $54 billion, plus or minus 2%. This represents over $7 billion in sequential growth. Again, we do not assume any H20 shipments to China customers in our outlook. GAAP and non-GAAP gross margins are expected to be 73.3%, 73.5% respectively, plus or minus 50 basis points. We continue to expect to exit the year with non-GAAP gross margins in the mid-70s. GAAP and non-GAAP operating expenses are expected to be approximately $5.9 billion and $4.2 billion, respectively. For the full year, we expect operating expenses to grow in the high 30s range year over year, up from our prior expectations of the mid-30s. We are accelerating investments in the business to address the magnitude of growth opportunities that lie ahead. GAAP and non-GAAP other income and expenses are expected to be an income of approximately $500 million, excluding gains and losses from non-marketable and public held equity securities. GAAP and non-GAAP tax rates are expected to be 16.5%, plus or minus 1%, excluding any discrete items. Further financial data are included in the CFO commentary and other information available on our website. In closing, let me highlight upcoming events for the financial community. We will be at the Goldman Sachs Technology Conference on September 8th in San Francisco. Our annual NDR will commence the first part of October. GTC Data Center begins on October 27th, with Jensen's keynote scheduled for the 28th. We look forward to seeing you at these events. Our earnings call to discuss the results of our third quarter of fiscal 2026 is scheduled for November 19th. We will now open the call for questions. Operator, would you please poll for questions?
Thank you. At this time, I would like to remind everyone, in order to ask a question, press star, then the number 1 on your telephone keypad. We'll pause for just a moment to compile the Q&A roster. As a reminder, please limit yourself to 1 question. Thank you.